Good morning Year 6, welcome to Tuesday's English lesson, and just a reminder that this week we are writing a poem all about the perilous journey across the sea. Yesterday we linked it to our World War II text of Letters from the Lighthouse, but we also linked to current news affairs, so the present day and the fact that refugees are still fleeing their country due to conflict, just like in World War II. Remember, in Letters from the Lighthouse, our text, some Jewish people are coming over from Europe to try and flee the conflict there and to be safe in the UK, and they are trying to land their boat in Budmouth Point, which is where Olive and Cliff are. So, by the end of this week, you will be writing your poem, and we want to make this poem really emotive and dramatic. So first of all today, just as a quick warm-up, I would like you to pause the video and think about the key points of the journey that you need to include this week. Okay, so hopefully you have thought about some of the key points, and the ones that I thought of, which may be similar to yours, are I know that I need to describe the waves crashing up so that I add tension for my reader. I also want to describe something else about the other people on the boat. Maybe there's old people, maybe there's other children on the boat, and maybe something happens on the boat between the people. Thirdly, I definitely need to describe throughout my poem the feelings of the narrator. Thinking of home would probably be quite common. So, for example, wishing they were at home and nice and safe, however, also wishing that life had gone back to normal before they had to leave, so things like school and family being normal. And finally, they might be telling us in their poem what's on the horizon, so the waves crashing on the horizon, the colours we can see, but also the land as well. They might suddenly just be able to see land, which would probably be a very welcome sight at that point. So now we've had a little warm-up, my example to you today is: waves thrashed above our heads, causing me to shudder. I studied Mum's lined face, worry spread across her furrowed brow. Remember, when we say poem, people often think that it has to rhyme, but that's not always true of every poem. However, I probably do want to structure my lines as lines and not continuous paragraphs because I am writing a poem. So for your guided today, I have given you a sentence starter, and I would like you to try and finish the sentence starter. And my sentence starter is, I could barely. So from the narrator's point of view, I would like you to finish that starter. I could barely what? So what I'm expecting from you today is a draft of your poem. Remember, your poems come in stanzas, not paragraphs. Stanza is another word for a verse. You can decide how many lines you use in each stanza, it's up to you, and you can decide whether you wish your poem to rhyme or not to rhyme, or whatever rhyming scheme you are going to be using. So just to remind you what I mean by rhyming scheme, if I use boy and then toy and then ill and pill, I have got the rhyming scheme of A and A, because A and A rhyme together, B, B, A, B, B rhyme scheme. However, if I was using boy, ill, toy, pill, we can see that I've got an A word, but this boy doesn't rhyme with ill, so that's a B, and then we've got A again and B, so that's an A, B rhyme scheme. You can choose whether to use a rhyme scheme or not, and if you are choosing to use one, you can decide which one is most effective and most appropriate for your writing this week.